What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post game here on Mets Central as the Mets win a series for the second time this month. Can you believe it? As they beat the Atlanta Braves by a final score of 9-2, getting to 69 wins on the year. Nice. How nice. Took longer than it should have, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of leaving this game with some mixed thoughts right now. The reason is because why couldn't they do this in their own building last week against the Braves, for starters? And the second thing, they are annihilating this Braves pitching staff, which they should be doing. You should be beating up on these garbage pitchers. Where was this in Washington, though? That's what's driving me insane because if you talk about them winning that series against the Braves, winning the series against the Nationals at the very least, even though they should be sweeping them, but you win the series against the Nationals, it's like, okay. And then the Mariners, of course, who you beat in there, you could look at this and be like, okay, maybe there's something to build on here. And let's see how they do in the Philly series, which to me still is the ultimate make or break of what this team is going to be going forward. And I'm not sitting here saying that, that is their World Series or whatever you want to say. I'm not saying it to an extreme level to where it makes or breaks their season, but it's going to show us really more than anything, are they battle tested enough to do something special in October? And to me, the jury's still out on that. It's great that they're beating up on this baseball team that you should be beating up on, but I still can't ignore the questions I have with this bullpen when we didn't see any of the relievers that I mentioned yesterday in this game today, which outside of Tyler Rogers, who I kind of feel is 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the circle of trust right now, he was fine today at the very least. So, but again, kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out until further notice. The one thing I will say, and before I jump in everything, I ask that you please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, all that stuff. The one thing I will say is I do have to take back a little bit of what I said yesterday because I was really wondering why Frankie Montas was not eating those last 2 innings in yesterday's game. Because if you don't trust him to finish out that game, then when are you going to trust him at all realistically? Well, comes out today that he needs Tommy John surgery, and we're probably never seeing him pitch as a Met again. And it's going to be funny to look back on him as Met legend Frankie Montas in a few years. But all I could say is I wish him a good recovery, but he's got to get DFA'd because even if he rehabs next year, I don't care enough. Like, you might as well just cut ties with them. Who cares? They probably won't. They'll probably just keep him, give him his salary, whatever it will be. But yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So Brazilov's back up. And then there were whispers, apparently. This was going around on Twitter that Joe Natong maybe is going to come up. And he looked good tonight for Syracuse. 6 innings, 8 punches, no walks, I believe. Or maybe 1 walk it was there. 5 hits. He looked really good. So I can tell you right now, that's something to keep an eye on. And tonight was another night that proved why you need this starting pitching because Clay Holmes gave you his best start since June. And major credit to Clay Holmes tonight. Major credit. Because he saved the fact that this bullpen maybe would have came in and melted down a little bit and blew the game. And what's the thing that we talked about on the podcast ad nauseum? He needs to deepen the arsenal. And you see what happens when he goes more to the arsenal? It's amazing what happens, isn't it? And they were talking about it on the broadcast too. And Gary was even saying, it's weird that he doesn't throw his kick change a lot, considering that's his best pitch. Well, he at least threw it 20 times tonight. Not the most pitches out of, or not his most thrown pitch out of his entire arsenal, but still was really good at limiting the damage against with that changeup and did a really good job. It sucks because I was really hoping you were going to get the full 7 from him, which I didn't expect, but it would have been nice just to have another 7 inning start from a starter, considering how this team has not got it all season long. I'm not going to sit here and complain that he didn't go the full 7 because he still gave you a really good start tonight. 6 1/3, 3 hits against, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. This was the best we have seen of Clay Holmes. And it sucks too, because honestly, the inning that he ended up allowing the 2 runs in, a lot of bad fortune went his way, which was similar to what we saw in that last start against Seattle, where he had some bad fortune. But there was some bad fortune here in that inning. He allowed the runs, and maybe if he limits the damage, you see him go the full 7, because he allows the 2 walks back to back. And then you have that fielder's choice where they're trying to turn 2, but Ronald Acuna beats it out, which credit to him. But and then Lindor, though, I mean, Lindor's got to keep the tag on, because there was a moment where Acuna was off the bag, where if Lindor kept the tag on, probably would have got the out. But yeah, it's just some bad fortune there. Then you get that sac fly, which ended up making it 3-1. And then Baldwin had that ground out, which brought in a run. But overall, I mean, outside of that, just really good. And then how about the defense too? And this is my one, even in this kind of win, I have a gripe with Mendoza. But I have a gripe with Mendoza because Tyrone Taylor makes an unbelievable grab to rob Michael Harris in the 6th inning. And I said it on Twitter. I said it out loud on the couch. Thank goodness Cedric Mullins isn't in center field. Only for us to fast forward to the 7th inning, and they take Marte out, understandably so. And Cedric Mullins comes in, and he's playing center field, and they move Taylor to left. Why? Just keep Taylor in center field. Look at what he did. Nitpicking, I know, but it's something I don't want to see, because why are you not maximizing the strength of Tyrone Taylor? I mean, look at the grab he made there. So that's my one complaint if I'm going to sit here and get annoyed about anything tonight. Outside of that, I'm not annoyed about anything other than, again, in retrospect, it's more annoying that they didn't beat up on the Nationals. It's more annoying that they didn't beat up on the Braves at home last week, because you should be beating up on these garbage pitchers. Cal Quantrill stinks, and they took advantage of that. I was frustrated at first because you get 2 on with 2 outs, and then McNeil grounds out there, and I'm like, here we go. It's going to be that kind of night. Marte gets that bunt single, steals a bag. You get guy on second with nobody out, and you fail to score. I'm like, it's going to be that kind of night, isn't it? But the fortune changed in the 3rd inning, which I also was getting frustrated because Lindor got a single. You have Soto walk, the double steal. You get 2 guys in scoring position. Pete with an infield ground out. Mark Vientos there ends up striking out. And I'm like, they're going to ruin another opportunity here. And it's back to the same old with runners in scoring position. But Jeff McNeil ends up hitting a home run, which made it 3-0. The Mets could have added more damage because Marte again gets a single, steals a bag, Beatty walks. And then how about Starling Marte in the field, though? And I was sitting here saying, you got to start playing him in the field if you want to maximize what you could do with this lineup, because Mark Vientos, rather. I mean, Beatty's not great defensively either, but Mark Vientos obviously stinks defensively. Jeff McNeil's banged up, and I don't know how much of the field he could play. I mean, you ended up getting him in the field today, so maybe it's not too bad, but that's besides the point. But how about Starling Marte with that throw to home plate to rob the Braves of a run there, to gun Nacho Alvarez out? I mean, just beautiful. That inning could have got really hectic there as well. So shout out to, again, what have we talked about being a problem throughout this season? Poor defense. What was good tonight and helped the Mets get involved in this game and win this game? Good defense. Crazy concept, isn't it? Then Alonso gets a 2-run shot in the seventh. They were just teeing off of Dylan Lee. Vientos then. Marte. Vientos had a second home run in the ninth. McNeil goes back to back. They were just teeing off these pitchers. And again, I'm not going to sit here and complain because I can't. Again, I like I've been saying, you can't have it both ways. I can't sit here and bitch when they don't hit off bad pitching and then sit here and bitch when they do. But again, this is where I also say I proceed with caution because the offense, it's been slightly better. I'm not going to sit here and deny that it has been slightly better in terms of production over the past couple weeks or so. Over the past 2 weeks, outside of the issue that I still had with them not hitting off of bullpens, which has been different in a few games here and there. But I'm not going to sit here and ignore the fact that, I was still angry about, again, them not hitting against the bullpen and the other just multiple opportunities where they urinated all over themselves. So that's where I sit here and say proceed with caution. And if they do this against the Phillies, great. If they do this against the Tigers, great. The Phillies again, the Padres, and any other good teams they play, great. But I have to see it to believe it, unfortunately. It's fun while it's happening right now. It is great that they hit 6 home runs tonight. That's my kind of baseball that I like. And I'm not asking for 6 home runs every night, but let's see you put together these offensive games often. But I'm with Ray on this. I'm not holding my breath until I see it. Especially, again, against quality teams and quality bullpens, which the Phillies don't have the best bullpen, but at least starting pitching wise, I mean, you hit off I don't know if they're going to face Christopher Sanchez, but you hit off of Christopher Sanchez, hit off of Ranger Suarez, who I know has been struggling, but that at least moves me a little bit. But again, it's great that they did it, and you need to beat these kind of teams, which is what I was saying against the Nationals. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about that, but they got to show me further evidence to buy me back in and get me to believe in this team going forward, which I'm just not there yet. It's 2 wins. It's in a row now. It's against the Atlanta Braves, who are dead in the water, and you better sweep this team tomorrow. I mean, I said it with the National Series after they won Game 1 that you better sweep them. No excuses here. You have David Peterson on the mound tomorrow. Bryce Elder, if you didn't figure out Bryce Elder from when you last saw him, we got big issues once again with this offense. So you better be sweeping this series. Simple as that. Outside of that, I guess the other thing to note, Diaz pitched in this game since he hasn't pitched since a week ago, actually, exactly to the day. So it was good that he was able to at least get into a game for once here. But yeah, it does suck that he threw as many pitches as he did because I don't know how that's going to go for tomorrow. But you should be blowing this team out either way, where hopefully you don't even need to think about using Edwin Diaz tomorrow. Again, if you have aspirations of winning a World Series, you should be destroying the Atlanta Braves tomorrow because think about what the Braves did to you when they were the team constantly in the playoffs and you were the ones being pushed around by them. Your turn. And here it is. So Sanchez is pitching on Monday. There you go. That's it's going to be something that's going to be telling. Very good win tonight with Peterson on the mound. A sweep is mandatory 1,000,000%. You cannot, you can't lose tomorrow, especially because in the full context, then a 3-3 road trip's not good enough. 4-2, I already am not happy about because to me, you had to at least go 5-1 on this road trip. Salvage it with a 4-2 road trip, though, now. Once again, Holmes used more of his pitches, and he has another good outing. Very nice to see the Mets get back games where McLean and Holmes pitch in the seventh. It's amazing what happens when they get these starting pitchers deep into games. I gotta tell you that okay, this is like if any of you don't know who Turbo is, I gotta say that this is making my damn night here because I used to freaking watch Turbo's content all the time. Call of Duty Zombies. If you didn't know, I was a huge Call of Duty Zombies player. This channel was based around Call of Duty Zombies at one point, so it is cool to see Turbo in the chat right now. Especially that Last Man Standing series. Watched freaking every single episode. And I'm with you though. I thought for sure at some point Holmes was going to shit the bed. I'm not going to lie to you, especially in that inning where you had the double play from Starling Marte at the plate, especially in the inning where Acuna ended up beating out that play at second base. I thought for damn sure that that was going to go south, and I thought that it's at least going to be a close game. I don't know how the rest of the game goes, but at the very least, it's going to be close. Feel like Marte and Taylor need to play the field once every 10 days or so. They play so much better when they do. Mullins and Nimmo do not have the arms or the range. Taylor at least should be in for defensive substitutions. That's something that I've also been very curious about why Mendoza has not been doing that because all year long I've been, or ever since they got Mullins, I should say, I've been wondering why are you not putting Taylor in ever for defense? And I get that it's kind of hard to take out Nimmo or Soto for those defensive changes, but Brandon Nimmo and especially Juan Soto, I mean, they're not playing good enough in the outfield to where if it's a blowout, why not? And I guess they haven't been in a position to where they could too many times, but I'd like to see that too. I'm not there with Marte just because they already have to treat it like spring training as is with Starling Marte because we saw that he couldn't even play the full game tonight. And we saw earlier in the year, he couldn't even play more than 4 innings in the outfield. And I get that he's not that bad in the outfield, but when he is out there, but just because of the injury concerns, I get it. Uh, but Tyrone Taylor, I mean, he might have earned himself his way back into the lineup every now and then because he's had himself a solid series. And I know he didn't do as much offensively tonight as he did in the last game, but still, I mean, he's giving you just about what Mullins has been giving you, to be honest with you, if not better, because you're getting the quality defense from him. So that's kind of my thought process around that one. And yeah, I mean, this is the point with the Mullins Taylor thing that the manager needs to be putting his players where their strengths are. And I get that apparently Mullins isn't as comfortable playing the corners, but you can't tell me that Mullins wouldn't at least be average in the corners. And then Tyrone Taylor, you get his elite defense in center field. I don't understand that one. Hopefully it is. Not that I don't think the Tigers have been, unless I'm wrong, I don't know if the Tigers have been playing the best baseball lately. But um actually no, they have. They are 9-1 in their last 10. I don't know why I thought maybe before that they had a little bit of a sked because I remember at some point they weren't playing yeah, because they dropped the series to the Phillies, the Twins earlier this month, so I'm not too far off. There was a point where they were struggling a little bit, but hopefully it's a preview of the World Series. But either way, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on Met Central. I'll see you guys in the next one.